Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Julie and I am a bit of a crafter. I love to do all the things, especially junk journaling. And today I'm going to start a new journal. I have this gorgeous pink book. You'll never guess what it is, and it's not old. It is the Storytelling by Tori Spelling. I think it is her life story from, let's see how old it is. Oh, 2008. Okay, so I'm not going to read it, but I love the color of it. So I'm going to go ahead and repurpose this book today. I have these gorgeous napkins that I decided need to be on this book. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I rip this book apart, prep it for turning it into a journal with a new spine. But today I'm just going to be working on the cover and getting that prepped to build the spine and attach it all together. So, all right, come along with me. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. Otherwise, I'll just kind of be talking and working. Here we go. First thing I'm going to do is going to identify the gutter, which is this part in the book where there is a slight gap between the cover and the spine. And I have these big Tim Holtz shears. I told my husband one year for Christmas I wanted some Tim Holtz scissors, and this is what I got. So then I turned them into they're a tool, you know, major tool in my craft room. So I love them because they do all the heavy lifting like that. And then you've got this gorgeous pink board ready to go. And you can see this is a glued in signature, so no worries there. We're not even going to use probably any of the spine or not too many of the pages. The pages are like, and oh, I cut it. Oh well. The pages are like not quality. It's not quality paper. So we'll find some craft to do with it. Who knows? All right, so let me finish cutting this off. And then once I get it cut this far, I like to clean it up just for my own needs. So I'll just go in and just cut off any edges that make me uncomfortable. Because I'm going to cover them up with the new spine and new binding anyway, and this way it's kind of all even and ready to go. I'll put that right there and do something with that later. Clean this up a little bit. And then my second one, just do a little trim. Here we go. Cutting off the ugly edge. Prepping her for a beautiful new life. I just apologize if you are offended that I cut up Tori Spelling's book or that I cut up any book. But the books just want to be loved, and this book wasn't getting any love at all. And now he will be fabulous. All right, so now I've done that. It doesn't even matter which is the front and the back cover because they literally, you can't tell what either one of them was. So I'm going to go ahead and start, I think, right here with this napkin, this big guy. The big guy. I'm going to put him right here. I think I'm going to cut out this area. And it just so happens to fall right off the page. I'll just cut out and then fit him. And then I think I'm going to cut out this guy and kind of have him be a backer. And then some of the other ones will go then on the back cover. That is the plan. That is the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my images on my napkin out with water. The first thing you want to do, of course, you know, is to separate your layers. This is a 3-layer napkin. There's 1 and 2 right here. I can see them, I just can't seem to separate them. But anyway, get your top layer. Okay, and then in order to separate, I do have some water, and I just want to find a tiny a tiny brush. So let's see if this is a tiny brush. This is pretty tiny. All right. And let's see if I can get this to work on camera. So I'm just getting a little water on my brush, and then I'm just gonna cut around with water. And it just starts to rip gently, because napkin will just rip. You know, it soaks up water. It's just cheap paper. So I'm actually trying not to touch the flower. I'm trying to get a border around the flower. And then I'll deal with it as I go if I need to remove more. I don't want to really cut off the flower. I want it to be a solid image. So I'm just going around it and then gently pulling the parts apart. Pulling the wet part apart. End of story. That's all I'm doing. Just dipping in and dropping it down. All right, and it just kind of separates like a dream around. All right, and I know it's gonna end about here, so I'm just gonna drop down like that. Boop, boop, boop. Done. All right, how easy was that? Super, super nice. And then if you want to feather any of the edges, just gently hold and gently pull a couple of those bigger chunks out while they're still a little damp. So be careful though, you know, you can rip your flower. Take your time. Don't be upset. All right, I got a little bit of that leaf off, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a little bit of damage. I just don't want to take off like major hunks of it. Okay, and that is what that looks like. Let me find what's going to be the front cover. I'm going to put, oh, that's really pretty, huh? Okay, let's do this one now while I'm doing, actually I have two of those napkins. That's not the one. This is the one. Where did it go? Here it is. All right, let's do this one really quickly. I forgot about him. Just gonna kind of remove a couple of these bigger hunks. I like it. I like it a lot. All together again, and then I'll put like a label on. It's gonna be amazing. So I didn't know if this would work kind of behind. It doesn't have a stem, so it kind of has to be his own man. I mean, not his own man. He kind of has to join forces. That's what I meant. Just said it completely wrong. I don't know. I don't know about him there. He looks like a piece of pink broccoli. So let's just let him sit there for a minute and watch from the sidelines while we move on. What I'm going to be using today is I have some matte gel medium, and unfortunately it's almost out. Like, we're down to bottoms of the barrel, people, but hopefully it's enough to get us there. I'm just using a plastic palette knife. This is Teresa Collins one from a long time ago. I'm just going to go in and put some glue down pretty much just where my napkin was. And it's okay if I get over a little bit, because I am going to seal the whole book cover eventually. So all those mediums will hopefully play nice together and make a nice finished looking piece. So I kind of put it where it basically is, and I know I'll have to go in and do a little extra for spots I missed. All right, when you're using a wet medium, just use the light to help you see where all the places you missed are. All right, and then we put our piece down. This is kind of a one shot deal. So be as good as you can, as accurate as you can the first time, and kind of make sure it doesn't have too many wrinkles. Put it on one side and then just kind of gently pull and press. Pull and press. Okay, and don't push too hard because it will rip. Because why? It's porous, the glue is wet. It'll do a whole thing. A whole thing. So we don't want to do a whole thing. So like right here, you can see I don't have enough glue up under there. So I'm going to go in with some matte gel medium. And I want to get glue as much as I can under the whole thing so there's no bubbling later. All right. I got a little wrinkle in there. That's the way it goes. Little wrinkles. All right, but I think overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Don't be moving it around too much because it will rip. Like, let's be clear, this is a little bit of a fussy paper product. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little glue in the crevice and then just push him in and let him be right there. Become one with the crevice. Oh, see, I just gently touched it and stuff started moving. All right, you can go ahead and cover this whole thing with glue to make a nice, well, let's just do that. All right, so on this back side, I thought I would just use, you know, whatever's here kind of thing. Well, we can't use the beh because I cut his head off. So we could go like this. We could do all of this up here and just cut. Yeah, let's do that. I'm just gonna cut up here around Paris. Oh, the bee's upside down. I guess we'll cut around the bee and then around this red flower and then line the whole thing up right there. All right. So lidish moment on that, and back to the water. So we decided around here, I'll just start up here. And start pulling. It's really such a pretty napkin. I think it was from a swap. I can't remember who sent it to me. If it was you, let me know. It honestly doesn't take very long to do this. It's much faster than trying to fussy cut out all these images, but it really only works best on a napkin with a white background. Otherwise, you've got to deal with the color of a background. and I can go with it. I think I'm just gonna put her right there. Looks pretty good. I wonder if this guy will play nicer on this side. Doesn't it look like pink broccoli? I mean, I don't know. Is it just me? I don't know. Okay, well, we'll just go with red broccoli. Here we go. Let's put some stuff on, matte gel medium, and let's put it down. So this whole corner, I debated with cutting out the white next to the red broccoli, but I'm just gonna put it on and let it go. Why fix it if it ain't broken? All right, I'm gonna go in with my corner first. Line it up as best I can. Close. Definitely need more at the top. But yeah, look at that. All right. And then definitely more up here. How fun is this? Okay. There you go. That tool is handy all around. All right. Looks pretty good. Let's get this corner down a little bit more. And there. Always the edges usually always need a little bit more. I didn't check them on my first one, but the border wasn't quite as long. All right, so then we're just gonna do a quick coat over the whole thing. Okay. All right. So for spines, I use chipboard. A lot of people use food packaging. I just use chipboard. All right. People give it to me, constantly bring me chipboard pieces and different items. So that is what I use now. Just really quickly, I need to get a quick measure of how tall this guy is. So I want it to be pretty equidistant. So let me grab it and a pencil and just put a little mark about where the height is. Okay, back to it. Here we go. I like my spines to be super sturdy. Lots of pages, whatever the case may be. I like there to be a lot of strength in my spine so there's no issues and they don't fail me. Because that's no fun when your spine bends and breaks. But I wouldn't know that because all mine are always sturdy. So I can't imagine it's fun. Okay, so I want to go ahead and get me 3 pieces of cardboard cut. This is what I need to decide how wide I want to make it. I usually like 1.5 inches to 2 inches. I think that's a good, and sometimes if I can't decide, I go 1 3/4. And that's just how I do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with a 2-inch here. So usually when I'm cutting chipboard, I have one blade that's you know, no longer very sharp. I don't know how to get these out. Okay, so I have one that I've used and I say for chipboard. So then this becomes my chipboard blade. And they're usually pretty easy to replace. You just push your old blade in, hopefully. If I don't bump at my end, yeah, all right. And then you're not ruining a blade every time you want to cut chipboard. All right, you just press really hard on it. Okay, so I'm gonna go with 2 inches. This is where I'm going. And then the height needs to be about this high. I just put it in my trimmer and I just cut it and go for it. And I don't even need them to be all exactly the same. So there's one, and that height, I'm gonna just measure it out here real quick. Wow, that's tall. Almost 9 1/4. And that's pretty accurate. So 9 1/4 by 2 is about what I'm doing. 9 and almost 1/4. Birds cut. They're all pretty much the same height and width. Even if they weren't, that's okay. Just get close, and I think I'm going to use a piece of tie back in here, and I'm just going to assemble it in there, even though I'm not quite sure I'm actually going to use it. But I mean, like glue it in. I don't know. I'm doing a thing right now. Let me do my thing. All right, so it needs to be, I think it's shorter is okay, but I need it to be about probably 3/4 inch bigger. So that was a 2 inch. So 3/4 plus 3/4 is 1 1/2. So I need it to be like 3 1/2. Quick math. Pretty close. All right, and I'm just gonna go a touch over that. That's 3 1/2. A touch over 3 1/2. All right. Okay, so when you have all these pieces, you're just gonna glue them all together, and you're gonna tuck this in between 2 layers, like that. That'll be like that, and you're just making a sandwich at this point. I do have this neutral pH adhesive. My friend Sandy was throwing away, and I was like, okay, I'll take it. And so it's just a pH neutral glue. You can get it on Amazon. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little out, spread it around. I've got a piece of hair in there, my apologies. Honestly, it's everywhere. All right, you want to get to the edges. You don't want to skip edges here, people. Do not skip edges. All right, if we're going for sturdy, you gotta make sure it gets all the way across. Seems like I poured out a lot, but it seems to be not enough. All right, I think that's how to do it. I think some people would say you need to put it on both sides and then stick them together, but I'm not those people. So I'm just gonna put down what I have and put this on like that. And just get a nice little sandwich going. Make sure it's nice and even. It won't set up for another couple of seconds or so. So we'll remove it. We'll not remove it. We'll move it back if I accidentally slide it. We'll re-slide it back together if I accidentally move it. That's what I meant. All right, all the way to the edge, please. And on this layer, we're gonna go ahead and put the tie back on. It's another layer of support. Tie back is like a plasticky paper. It's pretty much unrippable. Those kind of papery, woven paper envelopes from the post office. That's what they're made of. As well as I think they have a purpose in building, like homes or something, maybe some joint thing on sheetrock. I don't know. All right, so we have that one, and then we're going to try to get our Tyvek in the middle here, close to the middle, eyeballing it. All right. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm out of frame. There we go. All right, we just want to have a pretty good gap on both sides, and then I'm about equidistant top to bottom like that. All right, and then one more layer will be on this guy, and then we'll line everybody up, and then we'll let them sit and dry. And that's the important part. Everything's going to dry so it can be durable and well adhered. So making a journal is not, you know, always the easiest, quickest thing, and that's why a lot of people, you know, do a lot at once, do several at a time. I just hadn't got there yet. I mean, I'm just a little bit of an odd thinker. Here it is, fall, and what am I making? A pink flower journal, but that's how it is. So I'm either way late or way early. There we go. I'm just gonna say I'm way early. Okie dokie. We've got glue to the edges, and then we just line it up with the one that's underneath it, underneath the Tyvek. I need a happy medium. And I'm gonna let it just dry for a minute, let it just kind of start to adhere, get tacky, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put something heavy on top of it so it can, you know, stay. They don't have to be perfect, they just have to be pretty close. All right, so I'm just pushing them together, lining them up, squeezing them, helping them find the right thing. I do have this silicone mat. I'm gonna set them on that so they don't stick to the table accidentally. Don't ask why. I know that they might. Don't ask. All right, and I'm gonna find something heavy to put on them, like some books. But first, I'm gonna put, here's some old parchment paper. We're gonna put that down on it. Don't ask why that's necessary. All I can say, people, is protect your surfaces because, yeah, just protect them. I need to go clean this off because it's got glue everywhere. Ba-doop. All right, something heavy, like a big book. And here is a big book. All right, I don't want it to slide when I put the book on it, so let's set up one more time because it will slide probably one way or the other. Okay, and then we just wish it luck and we check on it tomorrow. All right, I'll be back and I will be assembling this book in another video, so stay tuned. I'll show you how I attach the spine. Thanks everybody. Have a great day. Bye.